Hi, my name is Blair Glenn. I'm an ISA certified arborist. I'm also a sawyer. I do a lot of milling, and a lot of the milling I do is in redwood trees. I came across an interesting anomaly in a tree that I was milling, and I wanted to discuss this. Look closely here, and you can see an old cable. It has an insulation around the outside and the wires on the inside. What happened when this tree was planted was that the stake and the ties were forgotten about, and the tree grew around this support and absorbed it. Now, if you look at this picture, you can see the cable that I showed you in the previous photo at the bottom, and above it there's a little round spot which is the upper side of the same cable. Now look at the grain. See how it's being pinched off. On the bottom area you can see where I darkened in the line of where the new growth was being impacted, and you can see the growth rings just below that, how they're much smaller, and it's really slowing the growth of this tree down. You can see a similar circumstance up at the top where the pinching shows some growth rings that are very tight and close together. Interestingly, this tree completely and wholly absorbed this cable and continued to carry on around it. Now, in my experiences, I've often thought that this creates a significant weakness. What I see here makes me question this whole process. Now, it certainly ruined the lumber value, having a piece of steel in the boards, but it did create an interesting feature that made me stop and think about how this tree grew and whether this is a weakness that may be a long-term problem. Is this going to lead to future decay? And is that crimping of this tightness going to affect the stability of the tree when it gets much larger? Obviously, this tree wasn't allowed to get much larger because I am indeed milling it, but this is a circumstance that we find a lot in landscape plants. You must remove the ties, but when something like this happens, we have to stop and think about the consequences. Will this create a long-term weakness? And will this create an instability that may not be suitable? So anyway, my name is Blair Glenn. As I said, I'm an ISA certified arborist, and these are some of my thoughts.